Hey everybody, welcome to day 101 Reseller Reflections, a day in the life of a full-time reseller supporting her family. How is everybody doing tonight? All right, let me turn my light on there and get a little brightness going on here. All right, so tonight, seasons. All right, I am still talking about, because I said I would break it down, the video, which is linked up in the show notes, Rory Vaden on the School of Greatness with Lewis Howes. And he was talking about 7 ways to beat procrastination. And number 5 was all about seasons. Sometimes those seasons are imbalanced. Sometimes, like yesterday, we were talking about, let me see, my quote is over here. Until you accomplish your goal, everything else is a distraction. And, you know, these are short-term things. And reframing that and thinking about a season. I've said that I have a season of imbalance right now because I am really working toward my goals and making those things happen. So it is a season of hard work, and it's going to last until the end of the year, unless I hit my goal first, and then the season is over. But I have a monetary goal that I am a profit goal that I am working toward at the as of, December 31st, I am going to make that happen. So it means that everything else has to take a back seat and I have to make some hard choices. We already talked about that yesterday. Molly was wondering why I was yelling at her to pay attention in the day 100 video. But yeah, so focus and thinking about it and reframing it into a season. It's not going to last forever. It is not always going to be this hard. You're putting in the work now for a season. Or maybe you're not putting in. Maybe it's a season of, you kicking back and relaxing. That's not going to last forever. It's a season. So kind of like reframing that, because sometimes I think when we're in the moment, I love this principle, because sometimes when we're in the moment and things are hard, or, things just seem really, really difficult, and it seems like it's always going to be that way. It's not always going to be imbalanced. It's not always going to be a season of hard work. And, they talked about this in, I don't know, quite a few books we read. Like there are seasons, and we lose touch, like in our world, a lot of times with the seasons. But, like in agrarian society, there were, seasons. Oh, I know what it was. It's The Slight Edge, Jill Drink, book, where they talk about, and, there's the plant, what is it? Plant, cultivate, harvest, plant, cultivate, harvest, right? And that's the way life worked, in agrarian times, is you plant, you cultivate it, and then you harvest. It's that cultivation time that is missing in, today's society and the way we do things. We want everything immediately. We don't want to put the work in. We just want immediate results, because so much of, our world right now is immediate. We want to, know something, we want to build something, like it's just like we expect it to be immediate, and we've kind of lost touch. Part of the season is cultivation, right? We're doing the work. We don't automatically get the reward. So all right, so think about whatever it is you're working toward. Maybe your season is only, a couple days, but things aren't always going to be, you're not always going to be in the cultivation stage. You're not always going to be in the hard work phase. You're not always going to be in that season. So when you make that like mental adjustment and you think this is a season, right now I am in a season of hard work. Seasons have an end, they change. And so that little shift in your mindset when you're in the moment and you're like, oh gosh, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can keep up this schedule. I don't know if I can keep doing all the things forever. It's not forever. It's a season. So change your mindset. Consider it a season, whatever your season is. Start thinking of those blocks of time, because it's not always going to be the way it is right now. It's not always going to be like it will be, a year from now. It's just, think of it as a season, and its seasons change. And, we do cultivate and we do harvest. And that cultivation period is where we spend most of our time, as they did in agrarian times. So I think there's a lot of really cool parallels there. And thinking of it as a season. So the other thing that kind of ties into that, I'm going to link up this podcast because I said I would get to talking about it, but I've been stuck on these 7 principles because I think we have a lot to talk about and unpack. When I was really going through them, I'm like, this is pretty deep and very relatable to what we do and things we can put into practice. Like we can start thinking of seasons immediately, right? We don't have to wait. It's just a small little shift we make in our minds. Is a Mel Robbins podcast, and I will be getting to this after we finish the 7 principles. Right now we're on 5, and 5 is seasons. So she talks about, and the episode is called, let me see what my notes say here, how to get ahead of 99% of people, and then in parentheses, in 4 months. And 4 months is a season. And in this podcast, it's available on podcast and YouTube. I'm going to link up the YouTube on here. She talks about why the start of fall and back to school and, fourth quarter and the seasons changing is a much more effective time to make a change, and you're more likely to stick with it than changes we make in the new year and, New Year's resolutions and those big goals. Because there are many reasons, and we're going to talk about this because I'm going to talk about this podcast specifically because I think there were a lot of really good points. But I did want to bring it up tonight because it ties into seasons and seasons of change when a lot of things are changing. And we'll be getting to it, but it really ties into that idea of seasons. And I think it's really smart. Go listen to it if you want, and you can share your thoughts with me when we get into that on day, I don't know what day it's going to be, maybe day 105. I'm not sure. But all right, so we hit our sales goal day 2 today, and yes, all right, it's shaping up to be a pretty good week here, I have to say. Yes. All right, so day 2, a couple more in a row to go. But I am reset to 0 today, and joining me on this challenge are Jill of Rusted Truck Relics, Jason the Santee Swapper, Char Fabulous Flamingos, Kathy Singz, Nick Mr. C Chats, although he almost got kicked out of the Reset to 0 challenge today. I'll have him tell you guys about that if he feels like it. Vanessa the Diabetic Reseller at Brightest Holidays, Judith R, and Pam of Whimsy and Such. Thank you for resetting to 0 every evening. There was something else I wanted to say. Let's see, reset to 0. We hit the sales goal. All of my shipping is done this evening. I know what I wanted to say. In this season, I had to remind myself today because it's later than I want. It's 9:05 here on the East Coast, and I wanted to be done with work by like 6 or 7 today, and I was really striving for that. But a couple of things happened, and I had a couple obligations, and I was like, all right, well, I could just push some of my hours till tomorrow. I have 4 listing hours a day, and it was really tempting. So, but I didn't. I got it done. I really didn't want to. It was really difficult. I didn't want to be working this late, but it was either tonight or tomorrow. So I thought, all right, I'm going to just get it done. So maybe tomorrow I can try again to finish at an earlier hour, maybe 6 or 7. I would really like to be able to do that. And that's what I'm going to strive for. I learned some lessons today about what is realistic and what is not. So I might have to be making some changes and moving things to the weekends. Maybe 4 hours is too much on a Tuesday when we have a lot of C-chat stuff. I'm going to really have to play with that. I'm still committed to getting the 4 hours 5 days a week, but maybe some of that shifts to a weekend day. Maybe I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to kind of track it this week and see where the difficult spots are. So if you're doing something like that, keep track of it and don't be afraid to change it a little bit. As long as you're staying focused, and focus is hard, like we talked about yesterday on day 100. All right, guys, I hope everybody has an awesome evening. Thank you for resetting to 0. Thank you for focusing. And please share any and all comments with me. I would love to hear it and how you are doing in this season and what this season is like for you. For me, it is one of hard work. If you're kicking back and relaxing in this season, or you're taking a little break in this season, I'd love to hear it. I love to hear that people are enjoying the fruits of their labor after they've cultivated. All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.